Hey, what's up guys? This is Ghost from Ghost Network, and today we're doing a in-depth look video on the Spitfire Mark 9F, the Tier 3 version. We're going to be taking a bit of a different viewpoint, as I'm going to be changing it up a little bit this video. So I hope you guys like this version better. I know I do. So if you don't want to watch this part and just want to listen, you can go ahead and do that. When I go to the gameplay part, though, I recommend you do watch. So it's on the Spitfire Mark 9F, the Tier 3 version, as I said. And all the Tier 1 upgrades, all of them combined, get your speed up to 647 kilometers an hour, unlocks all the ammo upgrades for the 7.7 millimeters. It decreases your spread at 500 meters for the cannons, minus 2 meters for the cannons, and it takes 40% longer for your cannons to jam. So that's all the Tier 1. All the Tier 2 upgrades, your max speed goes up to 654 kilometers an hour. Your turn time decreases to 17.3. Your rate of climb increases to 23.2 meters a second. You get new 7.7 millimeters machine guns, which makes your weapon spread minus 1 meters at 500 meters target range, and an increase of 32% between gun jams. And for your Mark II, you get new cannons. Your Mark II cannons, you get, for the 20 millimeter, is a minus 2 meter weapon spread at 500 meters, and an increased time of failure by 120%, so you double the time it takes for your guns to jam. All the Tier 3 upgrades, your max speed upgrades to 671 kilometers an hour, your turn time decreases to 16.1, your rate of climb increases to 25.4 meters a second, and unlocks a 250-pound bomb, and you unlock all the ammo types for the 20mm ammo. I don't recommend you get the bomb. This plane is not designed as a bomber, or fighter bomber, or dive bomber. It's designed to fight enemy planes and kill them, so use it as a dogfighter. All the Tier 4 upgrades, your max speed increases to 678 kilometers an hour, your turn time decreases to 15.3 a second, your rate of climb goes up to 30 meters a second, and you unlock Mark II 1943 cannons, which is minus 2 meter weapon spread at 500 meters, and a 300% increase in time between cannon jams. So that's all the upgrades for the plane. It is a very good plane with all the upgrades. A 30 meters a second climb rate is insane. I have not seen that for a propeller plane since the Germans. So, at Tier 3 at least. So we'll take a look at some of the other stats for it. It has a rank of a 3. Obviously, it's a Tier 3 plane. Battle ranking of a 4.3, so you can get into Tier 4 games. It has a reward of 80% and a research bonus as of 48%, so I don't recommend you use this as your grinding plane. I mean, you should always use a premium plane if you have it for grinding, because they get the most research points and the most credit reward. Its maximum altitude is 13,200 meters, so you can get pretty high up there, and has a takeoff run of 305 meters. The ammo for the 7.7 millimeters is 1,400 rounds, which is not a lot for 4 guns, but it is enough to get the job done. And you have two 20mm Hispanos with 240 rounds each, which is not amazing, but it's not horrible at all. For ammo types, I recommend you take tracers for the 7.7 because they are incendiary tracers, and for the 20mm, I recommend you take stealth rounds because you have tracers on the 7.7, so you pretty much know where your 20mm are going. And the stealth rounds are very good with high explosive incendiary fragmentation incendiary shell, which is pretty good. And then it has high explosive fragmentation semi-armor piercing incendiary shell, and then has an armor piercing shell in there. So it can do a lot of damage to an enemy plane, so I recommend you take that. So that's about it for the statistics and all that of the plane. We're going to go talk about how the plane performs in battle and some of the problems with it and its pros and cons. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? This is Ghost from Ghost Network, and right now we're just taking a look at the climb rate of the plane. We are keeping a normal format for the gameplay portion of the video, so do not expect that to change at all. If you guys do request, I will see about it though. So right now, this is the WEP portion for climbing, It has a very good climb rate of 30 meters a second at fully upgraded. So, this can outclimb some of the Germans and most of the Americans and some of the Russians. So I do recommend you climb in this plane. In the event that you cannot outclimb your opponent, stay below the clouds so they cannot see you and have to come low to find you, because you can't perform very well at low altitudes in this plane, as it is a dogfighter. So if you're wondering why we're flying through the air at about 10,000 miles an hour, that's just because this is, well, fast forwarded. That's why. But if I were to make it as long as it normally is, it's going to take about 10 minutes, and I can't talk for 10 minutes about climbing in the air. So this is as low as or fast as I can get it. Otherwise, I'd make it even shorter, because this isn't really that important of a topic. But you know, I'll do what you guys asked me to do. So, but I do climb to about 7,000 meters, and then I stop climbing because I was playing against the Americans, and they don't climb as well. So I figured I was already above most of them, and this was a smaller game. So. But it's really personal preference on when you want to stop climbing. If you want to stop climbing at 9,000 meters, 10,000, 11,000, that's fine. You do have a max altitude of 13,200, so you can pull that off very easily. So I'm not sure exactly how long the web climb is for then, but I know it at least is 7,000. So here's the cons of the plane, and that's you can't take on multiple enemies very easily. That is that way with most planes, but especially with this plane, you cannot carry your team in this plane. You really have to get on one-on-ones, because if you're dogfighting, you have to focus on one person. You cannot focus on 10 people, otherwise you'll end up not doing anything at all but flying in circles, trying to avoid them shooting at you. So right here, I just pulled up behind this guy, but he's going faster than me, and I am starting to gain on him, but I do not want to lose all my altitude. And he is starting to dive to get away, so I do not pursue. I break off and go for the guy that's behind me. I'm closing in on him now. I just did a full loop towards him. I'm going to wrap up behind him. I'm not going to get any shots off, though, but I'm going to get behind him. And he's going to try and turn with me. Or, well, turn a little bit. But I'm going to pull up directly underneath him. I'm going to get some shots off, but I miss. And then he does a roll. I'm pulling up behind him, and then I hear an enemy shooting at me. So I start to get more cautious, but I'm not sure if it's human or an AI. So he wants me to give up my altitude, but I'm not going to fall for that, so I pull up. And it was an enemy shooting at me, a human. So I do pull up behind him. Get some shots off on him. And then I stop paying attention to the range that I have on the plane. I do that sometimes. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because I zone out when I'm in battle. And then the enemy shoots at me, and that's when I realized that I was super far away from him and that I need to deal with the others. So that was just an AI, so I pull up and I'm rolling back around. I was gonna go back onto my target after that AI pulled off me. And then we get onto a head-on-head, and I guess my gun convergence was higher than his, and that's why I was flying lower than him and still hit him. But I did not take any damage. And then that guy just rips my wing in half and kills me. And that's a problem, is you do not have that much powerful armor. So do not rely on your armor to keep you alive. It will not do that for you. Another problem is booming and zooming in this plane. If you're diving down, you're going to have to do a corkscrew technique because you do not have that great of a dive speed potential. And your plane's hull is not that strong, as it was a dogfighter, not a boom and zoomer. So I'm going for this guy on the runway because he's the last guy on the enemy team. And I decided I'll finish him off for our team. And I'm going about 700 kph, and then I do a hard G-turn, and my wing breaks off. Now, that's the way it is with most planes, so just be careful about that. So, on to the pros of the plane. Now, basically the big pro is that you can boom and zoom in this plane effectively and dogfight at the same time, which is what I do. There are not that many other pros. Like, it's not really a pro, but the ammo is not that great, and that's more of a con. But you can use that to your own ability to stage your targets for firing and doing damage on them. That's what I do. I do have my machine guns and cannons set up for different mouse buttons. So I'm diving on this guy. I get some shots off on him, and he's trying to outturn me. But at high speeds, the Spitfires can turn very well, a lot better than at low speeds, at least. But I know I can still outturn him even at low speeds. And then I just line up on the perfect shot, and one of my shells explodes and kills him. And then I turn back around and face the other guy. And I catch him in his stall, and I just pound him, and he dies. Now, you do notice that the guns overheat really quickly, and that's because this isn't the fully upgraded version on these videos. If you do, it'll take a lot longer. So this is the last portion of the gameplay. So this is a P-47 I'm closing up on, and theoretically he should be able to take a huge beating, but I just completely destroy him. So I missed all of my shots on that. Like, if I hit him though, I probably would have killed him because he was stalling out. So I roll up behind him, and he's trying to run away towards the water, which is not the smartest idea. He should have went towards his base because it was close, and he would have got AA support against me, but he does not do that. Not my decision, it was his. I'm sure he regrets it now. And then he decides to turn, which is the worst mistake you can do against a better turning machine that's going fast, is he'll gain on you, and he'll outturn you. So I do try and wait till I'm close to use my cannon ammo, so I know I'm going to hit him or not. And this is why I use tracers right here, is because I just lit him on fire. And basically, when you light someone on fire, either they're going to be really critically damaged or they're going to die. And he dies. So that's it for the gameplay portion. Stay tuned for the end. Hey, what's up, guys? So this is the final portion of the video where we give the plane a rating and take a look at the competition at its tier. So for the competition, it has it's not a lot for fighters. Like, there are 3 other fighters that it has to compete with. Actually 4 if you count the gift plane, the Typhoon Mark 1B. So we'll start out with the Spitfires. There's a Spitfire VB Trop and then the Spitfire VC. And the VB Trop has 4 Browning machine guns, 7.7s, with 1,400 rounds, and 2 Hispanos with 120 rounds, which is not a lot, so I'm not too worried about it. But the VC has 4 20mm cannons, which is really good with a 480 rounds, so it's not a lot, but if they use their ammo conservingly, they could kill a lot of people. And if you really compare them with those Spitfires, it's not that bad. The Typhoon Mark 1B late has 4 Hispanos also with 560 rounds, has a turn time of 20.5 a second, and a rate of climb of 25.7 meters a second, which is pretty good for a beginning, and I still haven't unlocked anything for that plane yet, so it is a very superior plane for its tier. And then the Gift Typhoon Mark 1B has a 30.7 meters per second climb rate with all the upgrades and a 18.9 turn time. So you do turn faster. You do go faster because it only goes 676. And you do have a slightly worse rate of climb, but it's not that bad. It's only 0.7 less. Then the 2 bow fighters, but I'm not going to consider those in the same category as they're not even dog fighters. So that's the competition you have at tier 3 with the plane. Now, I'm going to give this plane an overall of a 7 out of 10 because it doesn't have that great ammo. It cannot dive very well, but it can dogfight pretty easily. Now, dogfighting is key with any British or Japanese plane. Russians can do it also. But you need to be able to boom and zoom also in the event that you're going up against someone who is better than you at those things, such as turning times. Because booming and zooming is the way to counter better turn times, and if you can't do that, then you're dead. And if you also just want to avoid having to dogfight, you can boom and zoom also. Now, the boom and zoom for this plane, it is possible. It's harder than the Germans or the Americans, but you can do it. It's really designed as a dogfighter. Its wings break off pretty easily in high G turns, going really fast, and it also has very weak armor, so it can lose its wings pretty easily by getting shot at, or you could die pretty easily in the plane. Same with the Japanese. They're lightly made so they can turn better. But it does have an amazing climb rate. Its ammo is not horrible, it's not great. And it does have cannons, which makes it amazing already. So, that's about it for the Spitfire Mark 9F. If you guys are wondering why this video is a bit shorter than the other one, that's because I'm kind of rushed for time. I do have to start transferring a whole bunch of files over to another hard drive, as I'm going to be taking a 2-week break because I have to get my computer fixed and they have to replace the motherboard. So, I need to get as much video up and running as quickly as possible. So, and if you're wondering why my voice sounds a bit weird, that's because I've done this commentary like 7 times already, and it keeps on saying this video does not work with this commentary or audio file. So, but this one works. So, anyways, peace. Hey, what's up, guys? Make sure you click that like button if you liked the video. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more from the channel. Click the button at the top if you want to go directly to the channel, and click the subscribe button. Click the video on the left if you want to see the M18 Hellcat video I did, and click the video on the right if you want to see the first in-depth look video I've done. Peace.